Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
We were covered the reporting aspect yesterday and the day before yesterday on how to build the metrics model. There are a few additional models which I wanted to cover today also because it is really built nice and I wanted to cover it quickly. By chance, if you have missed the yesterday's session or missed out that particular section, you can cover it today also. If you see in the shared folder, we have this daily order detail. And if you just open the last one, and you will see how the conditional formatting and various things they have done it in this particular report. And it's very nice to see, and you can use this particular report for your reference because they have done the comparison also. They have done the variance calculation also, and they have done certain conditional formatting also. And another thing is they are using YTD. This is a good report to get all the information together. And if you can see, the levels are here, and then there are certain accounts here, and the accounts here, and the time frame here. We're just trying to understand if this is the report format that needs to be built, how you can do that. You can just simply click on edit. It's really a good report. That's why I thought of covering this also in the lecture. As you see, usually we add accounts on this particular axis. If you remember, this was the builder and we were following the procedure of adding the accounts this side and adding the time span or time elements on this side. If I just run it and show you again, you'll understand that the time span is reflecting. This is nothing but the time span as this name is daily order detail. They want this particular sheet for the daily order transaction thing. That's the reason why they cannot keep the time span in the columns because there could be a huge number of columns reflecting. That's the best way to tackle this is you swap the axis and have the time span on the row axis. It's really a good depiction, of the reporting requirements of the client that in such cases you can also tweak with the axis. Here, the thing is they have utilized the time span here in the row section and the column section. These are the accounts that they have used. YTD is an account and YTD quantity is an account. They are doing the variance analysis on this particular account, but for two versions. Actuals is your one version and this one is your actuals, but this is your last year version. In this, if you see properties, there is no changes done in the version options. If you go, the offset is nothing. There is no changes. It is depicting the current actual data. And same. If you go with last year and do properties and go to version, you will see offset as one backward. That means it is going to reflect the last year's data, 2022. What they are trying to do is a comparison between the VTD amount value for the last two actuals year. Here is the output. The daily wise, they have the actuals. They have the last year actuals and then they want the variance out of that. Variance, how we did that? It was very simple. We just added I read this particular difference element. This was a drag and drop here and we just changed the label as where. Here the label is like this. And difference option is here. You write the difference. Subtract this from this version. It is simple, simply built like this. Similarly, you can build variance percentage also. If you look at the properties, this is the same difference element. Only thing is they have clicked on display as percentage here. For the variance account, it was display as value, but here, since this is a percentage column, it should reflect always in percentage. Once again, here, if you see this column, it's always reflecting in percentage. In order to make this as value and this as percentage, this is the setting that needs to be done. Difference option is pretty much again the same. This small actuals minus your last year's actuals. We have done that here, and the remaining thing is the same. Only thing in the zone, if you see there is some kind of conditional formatting. If you notice from the data, it is something, if it is positive, then show it as green, or if it is red, you will see how it is built. If you click on zone, if you click on properties and then difference, and then yes, percent. If you want to understand this is the rules that they have applied for this. It's conditional formatting example. This is a good example to do because they have utilized various colors and based on the percentage rule. We will just see what they have done. First rule is value is less than or equal to this. Value is greater than or equal to this. There are certain conditions. If you just scroll down, there are 4 conditions total. They have built certain rules in the conditional formatting in order to make the report like this. You can see green is there. Red is there and yellow is also there. This is a very, very good example. I found it in the existing internet. That's why I wanted to cover in this session. And the levels is here. If you want to just change the level and if you just want to see the data for Canada, you can just change the level and run the report. Entire data will reflect for Canada only. At the moment, there is no data for Canada. It's showing nothing. You can always change the data accordingly. This is a good report. If you are practicing report, you can also look at all the reports in this section, which is in daily order detail folder. We have 4 or 5 reports here. You can check all of this and how they have built. This was a very, very good example, and that's why I quickly covered it. Today, we will focus on the remaining aspects of the reports. And there is one small topic of related to users, and then we will close the adaptive learning. Whatever you see in the screen right now, they are all metrics report. The first option is the thing that we were trying to build. You need to understand the purpose and everything that is mentioned in this particular report. There are basically 3 types of reports and remaining. Everything is just for organizing. As you see in the screen right now, what do you see? You see is there are certain folders and inside certain folders, there is a report kind of thing. If there is a requirement of organizing the reports in a structured manner, there is always a good approach of creating a folder first for that particular purpose. If you want to create reports only for certain dimensions, you can just create a new folder for that. Add new. Create a new folder and you can just write this at dimension related reports. You can create certain namings and inside those folder you can create additional reports. Now, suppose I create an additional report here. How do I create that? Click on add new, click on metrics and I start creating something here in the table. I can just simply add certain accounts. If I say I add this. If I add this in time, I just need to quickly create that this particular thing is saved. I'm just saving and I will just say actuals. I'm just saving this test one and this is in shared folders. Here you need to select which report folder you want to add this into. We just created dimension related report folder. I'm going to add this here. But now since you have created this as a shared folder, the shared report, and you're sharing it with users, you need to select which users you want to share this report to. At the moment, there are three options: available groups, available users, and available levels. This is what we will cover in the later part of the section, but you need to understand that. How do you give access to the reports that you have built? This is the way. For example, I'm just going to give access to Patrick O'Brien. I'm just going to add this and just save it. He will have the access to this report also along with you. That's it. That is the meaning of that. Once you save this, now you go into reports. You will see that you have organized this in a separate folder. In dimension related reports, it is going to be reflecting the name that who has created it. And automatically this folder will be visible to Patrick because you have shared this folder and this report with him, but not with the other user. Can any other user see this? The answer is no. That's why we have given the functionality of adding the folder, because it is used for two purposes. One is it makes you organized with only financial reports can be there in the financial statements folder. And same goes with attribute. Reports will be there in attributes folder. And then you can have a folder wise access given to people or even report wise access given to people. This is the two purpose of organizing it in the folder, wiser way. Now suppose I have created this dimension folder. Dimension related reports folder. And if you want to add something, suppose you have created 3 reports here, test 1, test 2, test 3. And if you want some additional document, PPT or PDF file or an Excel file that needs to be attached here that they can use it for reference. Suppose there is a dependency on some presentation file or there is a dependency on some Word file. What you can do is you can just upload the certain things which are related to that folder, which are related to any of the repo, any of the reports that belong to those folders. For that feature, they have given this upload file option where you can attach upload files from your system, basically, and just load it. Suppose I'm going to load this practice report thing in this particular thing. You can add any description only for demo. And you are asking where you want to save it. It asks again which particular folder you want to upload this file into. And then you are getting two options. Either you upload and you do upload and share. If you do upload and share, it's basically again asking you if you want to make sure that this particular file that you have loaded, you want to give access to one user or the entire group, basically. Here, this is also another way of adding, giving security to reports or giving security to folders or giving security to the files that you are uploading. At the moment, I'm again selecting Patrick O'Brien for this because only he should have access to my file, and I click on. The moment you can see we created this report, and for this report, this is a supporting document that I wanted to attach from my own system. And I've shared these two things with my manager, who is Patrick. Now Patrick and myself have access to this folder, and these two things sounds good. Good, because it is only for organizing things and nothing is. You are not doing much things here. It's basically the way to organize stuff. Suppose if you're working on a big project. There is an operations team. There is a sales team. There is a marketing team. There is a team. You guys can create several folders here depending on the departments and then share those reports only to those person who have the access to that particular department. People will only see it reports. Marketing people will only see marketing reports. This is where you need to organize the reports also, and you can organize it by department. You can organize it by attributes, dimensions, or like this, like you see in the currently in the system. This is two features that they have given here. Metric report model transaction. Everything can be built inside this. In any folder, it can be built. It is not like that. This feature is available everywhere in all the folders that you create. Now we will focus on what is the importance of a model sheet, model report, and what is the transaction report. Let's try to understand first with transaction maybe. Let's start a simple model. The moment you see transaction, you understand that there are certain transactions that are happening in the system that you want to record or that you want to view. It is simply giving the row-wise details of all the transactions that are happening in the system. Just click on transaction. You're creating a new report, and you will see what is the thing that it is asking you to drag and drop. Again, this type of report is only for drag and drop purpose. It is exactly like this. You drag and drop the reporting requirements for your matrix report. And then you just run it as ht-imp. Same goes with your. We are only the differences. The output is changing. But here, the output will be slightly different. We will just see how we are going to build it. As you see, sheet is there and a detailed set of things are coming by default, which we have set for transaction. You can drag and drop. Let's say I just drag and drop a certain columns here. And we notice that after the running this, let's run this and you will see how the output is looking. For amount, it is a number. It is asking whether I should show the total or not. It's for. And I will save this as my transaction. Report demo. I'm going to keep it at CML personal. I'm going to keep it as it is. Now I'm going to run this. It's very simple. Whatever you see related to transaction, you just need to drag and drop for the output. You can see it is the organization coming here. It is which account it is, giving the transaction type and the post date and the amount also in the currency also. And any description if for that particular transaction has been recorded. It is coming from some sheet where we have already recorded the data, because if it is not recorded there, it will not reflect here. Everything is coming in this way. Similarly, if you see this, you can just increase the size of the transaction report. I've just made it to 1000 because usually there will be a lot of transactions happening in the system. It gives you the page size a limit for 2000 and you can display 1000 transactions in one particular screen. At the moment, you can see all the things are reflecting here. Everything is reflecting here. All the accounts, all the transaction types. In order to see what accounts, you can just simply click on those accounts, which are nothing but your general ledger accounts. Let's search for this 64 tlen. This is the account where we have loaded the data. This is an input account. I am just looking for any settings additional they have done for certain accounts. Simply, you can add the existing elements in the system which you see and just run the transaction report. And if they want to take the dump, it is simple. You just need to printable view or export as a PDF or Excel file. This will get downloaded. This isn't nothing. It's just giving you a filter option. You can filter certain columns out of this. For example, I am filtering. I only want the data which begins with 64 learned. I'm just going to click on apply. And let me see if I'm getting any filter. It's just like, that's like you get in a normal Excel file. Also the filter option. Only accounts related to 6 folders and airfare will be reflecting here. This is just a filter option. Nothing else. Everything remains same. This is the same option and this is your snapshot option. Whenever you are done with the one particular month transaction, you can take a snapshot and share it across to the users. It is pretty much the same methodology across any kind of reports, basically. You don't have to do a much things here as compared to your matrix report because you have to make a levels. You have to make time span. You have to make versions. You have to make the accounts also and then the dimensions and the attributes that you want in the particular sheet. Matrix report. That's why it is more often preferred because there are certain limitations that are there in other kind of reports. Transaction report. This is the only thing that is happening. There is nothing apart from this, and same goes with your next type of report, which is a model report. Any questions on the transaction report? That we just move ahead. This is similar to like a ledger term, ledger dump. Let's create a few other kind of reports. It's again here an add new model sheet. I'm going to create a new model report. As the name says, what do you understand by this? It's talking about a report which is modeled. Looking at the screen, what comes to your mind? Model sheet. Correct. It is creating a model report only for the model sheets things. Once you click on the create new report and select that type as a model. That means it is only allowing you to select the sheets which are built as a model sheet in the system. Can you see standard sheet here? The answer is no. Can you see cube sheet here? The answer is no. Only model sheet you will be able to see again in order to build any kind of model report. You should make sure that you have access to that particular sheet also. Otherwise, it will not reflect here. Suppose, for example, as the user, I don't have the access to the salary data. Salary data is confidential. And I don't have access to that particular sheet. When I try to build any kind of report, I will not be having this access of salary data. I will be having the access for the remaining sheets, but not for this data. This is one purpose of model report. Basically those which have more than 10 dimensions. Correct. Now the thing is there is one limitations in a model sheet which the users want to have. And that is like they want to display certain columns together. In order to explain you that, I want to open one sheet which we built that day. Let me just open it here. What I'll do, we built this model sheet, CF model sheet salary. We don't have data. I think we did not upload the data. I think or we did it in another version. I want some data at least. I will just pick a random sheet, which is a model sheet. I will say workforce planning. We have certain data. Now in a model sheet, what happens is you have certain data that are coming in the sheet. For example, you have like 23 columns. 23. And there are certain accounts displayed here in the row detail. Always remember that model accounts are reflecting in the row detail section. Again, if you say there are 25 accounts here and there are 23 columns here. But now, not everything is required for a final type of analysis to you as the end user. You say that I only want 2 columns here and I only want 5 accounts from the backend. That means in the particular section, in a particular report, you are you. The requirement is to drag and drop your columns and your drag and drop your accounts also together. That feasibility is only there in a model report. The question is, can you? I think you can note this down. Can you drag and drop columns of model sheets in a matrix report? The answer is no, you cannot do that. You can only drag and drop elements. In order to explain you, I will again quickly show you. One set. We will go in personal. For example, we did this. I click on edit and then you will understand it better. Now my question to you is, what are the elements that you can drag and drop in a matrix report? Then the answer should be, you can drag and drop accounts, time levels, version currencies, account attributes, level attributes, dimension attributes, and dimensions. And you can run certain calculations on the elements. This is the answer that belongs to a matrix report. But now I am telling you that I want columns from model sheet to be utilized in this report. The answer is no, you cannot do a report. You cannot build a matrix report based on certain columns. I mean to say, if I want this title, or if I want the comments, or if I want the start date to be reflecting in the report, you cannot create it in a matrix report. And that is why this condition is sorry. This particular drawback has been covered with another form of report, which is called as a model report. Now you are getting the point why matrix is created and why model is also created. Because it will be an interview question. What is the difference between a model report and a matrix report? This is the answer for that there are certain things limited in the matrix report, and in the matrix report does not give the permission to drag and drop columns. Because in columns we have dimensions, we have attributes, we have a date column, we have text selector. In matrix reports, we cannot drag and drop those things. That's why it is overcome in your model sheet reports. Now we are here. Now I am going to build a report where I am going to pull out title. This is a workforce planning sheet. I'm going to create a workforce planning model report. And my requirement is I want the title. I want the residence for tax and I want the start date. And then I want certain accounts also to be displayed as together. I would say I want a head account and I want salary. I want two accounts. I don't want to see all the accounts here. I want only few columns to be displayed. This is my requirement. How do you tackle this? The moment you understand that you want to create a report out of a model sheet and they require dates also, they require text field also, and they require columns and accounts both together to be displayed. This is the solution to it. You have to create it as a model report. This is my requirement. This is my requirement. I want to show you how many columns we have here. What is the last column? The last column is your salary bonus allocation, salary bonus. If you go here. Salary allocations bonus. You can see allocations is there. And after that, everything is nothing but your accounts. Everything before allocations is your columns. You can add a commission target. You can add bonus percentage. You can add the level also, everything. And after that, if you right click and row details, all the accounts of model sheet will be starting from this personal dot or department dialog. All of these are accounts, right from this to your as total. I'm saying that there are several accounts here and there are several columns here. It is very time consuming for me to go and see all the columns and go and see all the accounts. Give me a consolidated view. I will give you a 5-column thing. I just want this. I just want this. I want start date and give me only the salary and the head count data. Only 5 columns are required, right? Is the requirement clear to you guys? Because there are a lot of columns here and there are a lot of accounts in the row details, but my requirement is I want to see the data in one report itself together, but only 5 columns is needed. That's what we are trying to build. What I'm trying to do is whatever columns the user is required, I'm going to drag and drop that. For example, I just drag and drop title. I drag and drop this thing. I drag and drop my start date. These are the 3 things that I want from your column thing. I don't want anything else. I don't want anything else now. But if I right click here in any row detail, there are many accounts that are reflecting in this particular model sheet. Out of this, I want only headcount and I want only salary. I hope that salary is not blank for any resources. I'm just going to pull out those 2 accounts. How do I do that? I will just simply go here. Scroll down. Headcount. Headcount is an account. I was saying that I added the columns. 3 columns I added, but now in the same report, I want to add 2 accounts. How do I add the accounts? It is reflecting in the same page of my workforce planning thing. If you just scroll up, workforce planning, right from the allocations, you can see these are nothing but your accounts that are reflecting in the backend. Now I'm just dragging and the salary account is also there. For numbers, we can get this total thing also. This was my requirement that I want to build a simple model report of only 5 needful columns from the sheet workforce planning. I don't want every column. I don't want every account. Give me a simple view of the model sheet of this. I've just created it with you and I will just save this. Personal. Now I will just run it here to see the output of it. Can you see we are getting certain things directly from the system with the account executive, with the state, with the head count and the salary for that. You can again increase the number of rows by the page size here. You can notice that all the data is reflecting here, and in the bottom you will notice the total up is coming. Every head count total is 57 and this is the salary. At the moment we don't have the data here. That's why. If you want certain kind of models reports to be built which involves columns, which involves accounts, which involves date columns. This is the thing that you need to build. It is called as a model report. And now if I want to add certain columns here, I can just click on edit. I will simply go here. I will add name also. For example, I will add this power also. And I'll save it. Now I need some accounts. Let's say cumulative salary. You can add as many columns as you want, but this particular whole agenda is to make the model report very crisp. It is only to reduce the time for, because if you notice, the time required to analyze a model sheet is very vast. They have to look for all the columns here. They have to look in the data. Then they also have to look for the row details for the computation that is happening in the backend. It is demanding you to have that knowledge of how the model sheet is working. And they have to analyze this. They have to analyze the account, but for cases where there will be users that they don't want to do any kind of analysis. They don't require this sheet. They only want certain data to pop up. And this is the data that they want it. And we just save it and then run it. You will see the certain columns have been added here and it is blank. If it is blank, it will not reflect. If we have certain data, then it is going to reflect. Now this particular report will be shared with those users who want to do the analysis or who just want to look at the data for the model sheet. They can either go here and work out by themselves, or they can either directly go here and just have a top view here for that particular title. This is how a model report is built. Any questions on this? You should understand what is the purpose of it and how it is built, and then it is fine to go because there will be very few requirements on this kind of report. Maximum 9% of the reporting requirement will be metrics. 7% will be this, and the transaction is a by default thing. Basically, like whatever sheets we prepare in model sheet has to be reported through a model report, right? No, not has to be. It can be, it cannot. Has to be more model sheet. Model reports, a model sheet. You can build a matrix report also. But now the purpose is I want the date column. I want the comments column. I want the attributes. I want text selectors in the report. If this kind of requirement is coming, then you need to understand that this cannot be tackled in a metrics report. It has to be tackled in a model report. This is what I wanted to address, because in this matrix report there is no feasibility of adding the model columns here. There is nothing like a columns mentioned here. It is only accounts time. And this you can add model accounts here. You will see you can add model accounts. Model account is possible. If you see, you can add headcount, you can add salary in this particular report. But in this report, what was the added advantage? I will just open it again. I will just do it. This is the model report of workforce planning. If you expand workforce planning, you are able to see these elements also, which are nothing but your columns in this report, and you can drag and drop your columns also. And then if you scroll down below, you can drag and drop accounts also. From personal.department dialog, you can add the accounts. But now if you see a model sheet in a metrics report, and you expand workforce planning, you will only see that you're able to drag and drop your accounts. Can you see start date? Can you see end date? Can you see what are the additional columns here? Can you see this name, title? Can you see residence for tax here? The answer is no, because those are model columns. Do you get the difference now? Go. If you want such kind of requirements that you want in the report, you want the columns also, then you need to build it as a model report. That's the only difference. And now another advantage of model report is a matrix report plus some add-ons. Correct. Now similarly, you have adding workforce planning stuff here. You can add accounts from any other model sheet also. You can just simply go and select whatever accounts you require, and you can just add it here. This is from Powerly Workforce Planning. I'm just adding anything randomly. I'm just adding the last account here. And I'm just going to add, for example, the thing which we created. I'm going to add the total salary. I'm adding random stuff, and I'll try to run the report now. This means that it is allowing you to do cross-functional thing also in the same report. In the same report, you can have it. Same goes with your metrics report. You were able to add as many accounts here in this particular thing from any particular sheet. If you want to do analysis, some accounts from your workforce planning, some accounts from your marketing planning, you can do that. Only thing is the data should be there for that particular intersection, right? Here, another difference between a model sheet, a model report, and a matrix report is you can create a reports for attributes in matrix. But in this particular example, you cannot drag and drop attributes. Attributes are not allowed in model reports. Only dimensions are allowed, and the remaining columns are allowed basically, but attributes are not allowed here. Not allowed in a model report, because it will not run. If there is a requirement based on attributes, then it is very much clear that you have to build a matrix report to tackle the reports related to attributes. This is another thing which I wanted to cover. Sounds. There's nothing much here. You just need to practice on this again, just like a matrix report. You need to do practice on the other type of two reports, which is this you see on the screen. Remaining thing is nothing but your organization thing. And your report book is something like an XML file, XML folder. Suppose if you want to create a folder and inside that folder you have to attach 20-30 reports or 20-30 files, you can create it as a report book. And then once you create the report book, you just download the report book in an XML format and it gets downloaded in the PC. Just like you download this in an HTML format as an Excel or a PDF. Similarly, you can download the entire report book. For example, if do we have a report book? I don't know. I don't know if you have a report. It's basically it will look like a folder inside that we have certain reports, and once you just click on it, there will be a download. There will be a dump download, and in that you can access all the reports that are there in that particular folder. And this is not generally use this pattern report, but you can definitely look at this that how, and you can study this, but usually it is not studied. How do you understand what type of reports are there and what type of things? If this is the help section, I'm just going to help on this particular help section, that how are you going to look on the tenant when you get stuck on any topic. Whenever you are stuck in any topic, you just have to click on the help section. And then we have this features where it is asking you that you want to have questions on the reporting analysis. You have questions on the modeling part. You have question on the integration part or the data entry part. Suppose you have questions on the reporting part. I'll just click on reporting thing. You can see that all kinds of web reports here. You will see a tour. Basically, it's everything explained in a detailed manner. Every little thing will be displayed, and you can just read through it and practice also. How you can practice? For example, I just click on model reports here, and you want to practice creating a model report. You will see this. You have the option download and the print topics also. You can do that and save it in your desktop. Once you don't have the access to the tenant, also you can refer to the files which you have saved it. But the problem is the data that is mentioned in this section. It is very huge. Since you have just started on the tool and you immediately jump on the sections here, it will be very confusing also. And it will be very helpful at the same time. Confusing because it makes sure that you haven't spent much time on the instance. And there are a lot of features. There are a lot of additional features. You will just get confused that I did not get hands-on the existing features also. And there are additional features that the thing that the notes are talking about. That's why when you start, we don't really recommend this content. But once you are just getting familiar, after 2 months or after 3 months or after you are done on any kind of project implementation, then you can just refer to this self section and read everything in detail and just increase your knowledge day by day. This is only for your knowledge. Extra knowledge, or rather because usually what we do in adaptive that we have already covered in the lecture so far. But if you want to learn more stuff, this is the help section. And you can enter your keywords also directly that you want some help on, let's say, model sheet. You can just select and enter, and it will give the search results also. You can select everything and read everything again. It is completely up to you how much you want to read. This is since you have a limited time access to the tenant, that's why I was suggesting that you can always follow this help section. Report is done. We don't have much things in the report. Any questions on the reporting part? I think there are no questions. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.